Well, this is the Mercedes-Benz EQA 250 and this is the electrified version of the GLA. But it is also the most affordable electric Mercedes that you can buy in the country, and we've had this car in our long-term fleet for over 2 months now. And today, over the next few minutes, I'm going to be telling you what are the advantages of buying the EQA and what are the disadvantages. So strap on and enjoy the next few minutes. Now let's start off with things that could have been better in the EQA, and the first one is the rear seat, which is where you're seeing me right now. Now in terms of space, let's face it, it's got adequate space. Now I've got a driver's seat adjusted to my driving preference and I'm 5 feet 8 inches. You can see I've got a good amount of clearance in terms of knee room. I can easily slide my feet underneath the driver seat, and yeah, in terms of space, it's not a problem. Even the headroom clearance is quite generous, so even taller occupants will have a good amount of clearance. But the problem is in the seat. Now because of the battery placement, this seat has been sort of positioned quite low. The floor is quite high, and because of that, now when you're normally sitting, your knees are pointing upward, which means I have no under thigh support. Now while the seat itself in terms of cushioning has the under thigh support, you won't be able to make use of it. Even if I slide my feet entirely underneath the driver's seat, I still can't use the under thigh support, and that's a bit of a limitation in the EQA. I mean, despite the space, if you're going to be in the seat for a long time, it's not a very comfortable place to be, because at some point of time, after say about 45 minutes or an hour, you will really want that under thigh support. But beyond that, in terms of cushioning, the seat is pretty good. The backrest angle is nice, the shoulder support is good, and the cushioned armrest, again with these cup holders, does its job well. Like I said earlier, space is not a problem. So you have space even in terms of door pocket. You've got a good amount of space here, and overall it's a spacious car. It's just that because of the design of the battery, the placement of it, and the way this floor is designed, the rear seat, despite being good, doesn't really offer the practical advantages that it should. Now the second thing that I'm not a fan of in the EQA is the boot space. Now don't get me wrong, the boot space in principle is quite enough, it's sort of sufficient. But the problem is that, first of all, there are the charger kits here, and then you have this spare tire, space saver, but it eats up into a lot of space. So effectively what you're left with is this. And why is that a problem? Well, despite the car being an EV, this has a range of over 400 kilometers usable, which means you can easily use it to go, from one city to another. But the limitation is that if you're going out for a weekend trip, you can't carry much. Yes, there is a way around it. If you want to ditch this space saver, keep a puncture kit with you, and that's the only way you can get rid of this tire and have more space for your luggage. I'm not a fan of in the EQA is one of the ADAS features, which is the collision avoidance system, which is the automatic braking. Now, as we know, in case the driver is not attentive enough and the car thinks that there's going to be a collision, it'll apply brakes itself. Fairly simple. It's available on many cars, but like we've seen in many other Mercedes cars, the automatic braking is extremely aggressive in this car, and sometimes it's so unpredictable and it brings the car to such a grinding halt that actually it can result in the other cars, the cars behind you, rear-ending you. So, and the best thing is turn it off. That's what I'd always do. The first thing I do when I get inside the car is turn that off. But the sad part is that every time the ignition goes off and you switch it on, it comes on again. So you need to do it every time. Thankfully, with some of the newer Mercedes models, once you turn it off, it stays off. And the last thing that I think could have been better, in fact, it wasn't earlier, but now I think a lot of people think it can be better, is the pricing. This is priced at about 66 lakh rupees ex-showroom. Now, for the money, when you look at it in solitude, I think the EQA offers a good package. The only problem is that recently BMW launched the iX1 long wheelbase at 49 lakh rupees, and that has sort of changed the dynamics of the entire segment. And that's going to be the expectation from people. So yes, if the EQA wants to stay competitive in terms of numbers, in terms of sales numbers against the BMW iX1 long wheelbase, I think Mercedes will have to go a bit aggressive with the pricing pretty soon. Now, among the many things that I like about the EQA, one of them, of course, is the design. Now, you can see it is quite similar to the GLA because it's based on the same platform, but there are quite a bit of differences. First of all, this grille that you see here with the oversized logo and the studded stars gives the car a nice premium and a sort of a futuristic look. The 19-inch alloy wheels here with the Aero AMG design and a sloping roof line along with a clean tailgate design give this car a nice and a clean, sophisticated look that you want from a Mercedes. Yes, it's not butch, but at the same time, it does look premium and modern. Now, one thing that the buyers of EQA are sure to love is the cabin experience for the front occupants. Now, starting off with the dashboard layout, the way it has been put together, the soft touch material quality, the pattern that you get here, and these propeller type air vents that we are seeing on most Mercedes cars, all of it looks really premium. So at no point of time, despite this being the most inexpensive electric Mercedes in India, you never get a feeling of sort of any compromise in terms of Mercedes quality. You get a proper Mercedes-Benz cabin here. Even the display, when you look at this combined display that combines two digital displays, it looks good, works well. The touchscreen here, it's very fluid, and even the user interface is quite simple to use. Even on the instrument cluster, again, you can customize it, quite colorful. It can also show you the navigation right here. You've got a heads-up display, which is quite elaborate. And when you add all of this with the fact that you have a panoramic sunroof here, electrically operated, beyond that, even in terms of seating, if you look at it, electrically operated seats, and you've got nice steering controls on this flat bottom steering wheel. Put all of these together and what you get is a cabin that is well equipped in terms of features. It looks well and it is comfortable for both occupants in terms of seats up front. Alright, now continuing with the things I like, and this one is my favorite about the EQA, the driving bed. Now, in terms of battery, it gets a 70.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, and well, let's not talk about claimed range. I mean, yeah, it's over 550 kilometers, but real world range, because I've been driving the car for over 2 months. So what do you get in reality on the road? Well, if you're driving it normally in, like you should, in a city, in a sedate manner, using the normal comfort mode, occasional overtaking maneuvers, using the throttle a bit, I think you should get easily, about 400 kilometers on a single charge, maybe a plus minus 15 to 20 kilometers depending on the kind of region settings and the traffic conditions. But if you want to extend that, you can go into the strongest region mode, get into the eco mode using these paddle shifters, and then you can get about 425 kilometers of range. So I think that's a very good range for a car of this segment. That means essentially if you're someone like me in Delhi, I can easily plan going to a place like Chandigarh or a Jaipur without having to worry about charging the car on the way. So in terms of range, yes, it's good. In terms of power, well, 190 horsepower, 385 Newton meters of torque, and 190 horsepower doesn't seem like a lot, but it's electric, and this car can be quick, especially in sports mode. Put it into sports mode and it gets off the line in a very quick manner. It accelerates all the way to high triple digit speeds without much of a tapering in terms of power. So that's a good thing. You can maintain expressway speeds at ease in this car. And of course it's electric, so well, it is silent, but like most electric cars, it's got artificial sounds being pumped through the speakers depending on the mode you select. And again, I've always said I'm not a fan of these artificial sounds, but in case you or someone in your family likes them, well, the EQA has it. So that's in terms of the overall driving experience as far as the powertrain is concerned. Charging options, well, it can take up AC as well as DC charging. When you buy the car, you'll get a charger, a wall box charger installed, and at 11 kilowatt hours, you should be able to charge the car from almost empty to full in about 6 to 7 hours. So that's good. And you can also go in for DC charging depending on the kind of charger you have access to. So charging, again, not a problem at all. In terms of dynamics, well, like most EVs, straight line stability is not a problem at all, mainly owing to the lower center of gravity and the weight of the battery pack. And even when you're braking from a high speed, the car is always stable. That said, like most electric vehicles, there is hardly any feel coming through from the brake pedal. The regen levels are pretty strong. You can, like I said earlier, you can customize them using the paddle shifters. But that does not mean you can do a single pedal driving, because even in its strongest setting, the system does not bring the car to a complete halt, and that's why you will need to press the brakes at the last moment. But beyond that, in terms of going around corners, well, it's a heavy car. It's an electric vehicle. It's got a big battery pack, and despite all of the work done on the suspension, there is a fair amount of body roll when you're pushing it really hard. And but that doesn't mean that it will not comply with the kind of line or direction you intend it to go. So it's still a nice point and shoot affair where you point the steering, the car follows till the point you're not really pushing it to its limit. That's where the understeer starts to creep in a bit, and the weight of the battery, all of it starts to show up. But as long as you're using it, I mean, for the purpose that the EQA is made for, going around places in comfort while enjoying the electric powertrain, I think the EQA does its job really well. And that brings us to the last part of the video, and the most important question as well. If you're out in the market looking for a compact electric SUV, should you consider the Mercedes-Benz EQA or not? Well, I think you definitely should. It does offer a lot of good things, including a nice design, a fantastic cabin loaded with features. In terms of cabin experience for the front two passengers, I think it's a great experience. You just need to keep in mind that the rear seat comfort shouldn't be a priority for you because of reasons that I explained earlier. And yes, there's an issue of that high price tag, but then again, people in this segment are in a lot of cases already inclined towards a certain brand. So if someone wants to buy a Mercedes, they would want to buy a Mercedes, and this being the most affordable electric Mercedes still on sale, I think there is a lot going for the EQA, which means you should definitely consider it. Well, if you like the video, then please hit that subscribe button, press that little bell icon, and share it as well.